like. Gentlemen, let's broaden our minds. Lawrence?
All right, it's movie review time. Let's do roll call, guys.
Badass James Dynamite.
Knee high.
And DJ Provoke.
And I am Avaz. A special guest for today's episode is DJ Provoke. Say hi, everybody, guys.
What's up?
What?
DJ Provoke. So you got Instagram, Facebook. What kind of stuff you got out going on out there?
I keep it simple. Instagram is DJ Provoke. Facebook, you could usually find me under Gilbert Provoke, but I'm more active on Instagram. DJ
MySpace?
Provoke.
You do MySpace?
I do MySpace. I just recently found all my old pictures.
Did you?
Snapchat?
No, you know what? I have a Snapchat. I don't use it. Sometimes people communicate more on Snapchat, and that's the only reason why. Just like if you have to send me a message. But,
Yeah, most cosplayers are using Instagram anyways.
Yeah.
Over Twitter and whatnot.
You know, and I have a Twitter too, and I go on there just to find like deals. I'm a big Amiibo fan for everybody that's a Nintendo fan, so I go on there to find when they're cheap. That's the only reason why I go on Twitter.
Yeah, I have a Twitter also. I just get my some news in there, what's going on for movies, and producers and directors that are like doing some nerdy movies and whatnot. So
Gotta do little shout outs. So everybody here seen Black Panther, yes?
yes.
Yes, okay. So we're going to do spoiler-free review. We're going to break down the movie a little bit, give some points on it. First off, a summary of the movie. Anybody here want to do a summary of what the movie's about?
Sure.
Basic?
Pretty much if you guys have watched the previous Marvel movies, they did touch base with T'Chaka and T'Challa and Civil War. Right? And Claw in Age of Ultron.
Correct.
So you get to meet Claw and how he lost his arm in Age of Ultron. And then T'Chaka and T'Challa in the other movies. Pretty much this takes off right from where Civil War kind of ended. He's become home. He's becoming the king of Wakanda. And story starts from there. So far, what'd you guys think of it?
Overall, I thought it was a good movie. I thought it was really good action. I saw Thor the last movie that I saw from Marvel was Thor. Yeah. And I thought it completely Thor went off on its own like tangent. It was a more of a comedic like movie.
Right.
It felt more like Guardians of the Galaxy.
Exactly.
Yeah,
so that's the feeling that I got from there.
Felt like Nickelodeon was making Marvel movies for a
Yeah.
minute.
So then, seeing Black Panther was kind of nice. It almost brought it back to the Marvel feel, the like Age of Ultron, like the
like
Avengers.
the first Iron Man, right?
Now,
So that's how I felt. It brought it back.
For me, it didn't feel like a Marvel movie, and that was a good change of pace. I think with Thor, I think that was the weakest of the line of Marvel movies. So I think it's kind of like we'll take cues from other Marvel movies like Guardians of the Galaxy and apply it in this one and see if it sticks, and it did. With Black Panther, it has a different tone, has a different feel, different pacing, and it didn't feel in a good way like a comic book movie.
That's true.
Mm-hmm.
It had a different vibe to it. And for me, my experience in the theater was the diversity in the theater. And by diversity, I don't mean ethnic. I mean, I saw grandparents with grandkids and their kids that, it was more of a family movie. So one of the things I would say, family friendly. Yeah. But it brought in not your standard comic book fan. I think it brought in new fans.
Everybody.
Yeah.
Well, it was more like this movie was made for everyone.
Yeah.
Of all ages. Of all ethnicities. Everybody.
Yeah.
So anybody, no matter who you are, whether you're even into Marvel movies, whether you're 70 or 8.
Yeah, that was the cool part about it. Yeah, I actually did see a 70-year-old grandparents with their grandkids and their kids in the theater watching this movie.
3 generations all
exactly. And that's one thing. Normally it's mom taking the kids or dad taking the kids or just a whole bunch of comic book nerds, and that was it.
Older people watch that movie.
Yeah.
When I went to
and the acting was great, pacing was good, villains were good.
Yeah, we'll get more into that in our spoiler review.
The villains were good. The female warriors that they had in the movie were just kicking ass.
Oh yeah.
They were like, I would say they were giving the Amazons
They
a run for
stole
their money.
the show.
So I saw somebody post on social media. They said the women from Black Panther versus the Amazon women.
Oh.
You know, who would win? And I was like, I'm gonna stay out of this. I'm not even gonna start
Be in the middle.
That's kind of tough.
That is a tough
Well, you
one.
know, okay, wait. We're talking Amazon women.
Amazon, they're
They're
stronger,
still
right?
going to be stronger.
Yeah.
Well, they're Amazons, but they've also been training their whole entire life
Right.
from birth.
And they've lived a lot longer.
They've lived a
too.
lot longer.
Yeah.
I would say in this case it might actually be a draw.
Because of technology they have, weapons.
Well, it depends. Yeah, are we gonna
Yeah.
let them use their technology up
Yeah,
against Amazon?
so I mean, or a straight just fight with no weaponry.
Oh, that's
Yeah, a straight fight with no weaponry. The Amazons are gonna take it.
yeah.
Yeah, so for me, I'm gonna call it a draw.
Uh,
Reason being is that I know the history of the Amazons. I really don't know the entire history of the Royal Guard for T'Challa.
Yeah.
True.
So, based on what I saw in both movies, I personally would call it a draw. I think they would strike me as they're just gonna keep going at it until they can't stand anymore, and then just pass out from exhaustion.
Yeah, he's gonna see who can take the
Who
hardest
can last,
beating.
who can outlast who?
Yeah.
Nihai, so what did you think of the movie?
I thought the movie was great. The casting was amazing. I enjoyed it. I really enjoyed this movie.
Okay.
What do you guys think of how they explained the history of Black Panther? Did they do a good job of that?
Well, okay, that's kind of the great thing about this movie, and there's a point that I wanted to bring up. This is the backstory. This is the solo movie. This is the beginning.
The breakout.
Yeah, of Black Panther. And this movie does a really great job of giving you all the information needed to understand, you know, who he is, how he becomes, you know,
Without having to watch other Marvel movies.
Right. It's a great standalone movie. It doesn't feel like it's overly done with information either. Everything flows really well, like you were saying. So whether you know anything about Black Panther or not, whether you've seen any other Marvel movies or not, you can literally walk into this movie and be entertained.
Yeah.
And then come back and listen to our podcast we did last time
Yes,
on the history of Black
Black
Panther.
Panther.
most definitely.
Now, people are claiming that this movie is the best Marvel movie made.
Yeah.
Okay, now, my opinion is this is the most unique Marvel movie made.
That's a good one.
Now, it's not the best because if you're comparing it to other Marvel movies, there might be some that are better. Now, story-wise, I think is one of the stronger stories that they've made. Acting-wise, I think is one of the stronger acted movies that they've made.
Right.
For me to compare it with like Guardians of the Galaxy, which is a total different feel,
Mhm.
compare it to like Captain America, which has a different feel and
Right.
tone. This one is a strong contender, and it's a really good movie. But for me, it doesn't feel like a Marvel movie in a good way.
Right.
You know, I cannot say, okay, I want to group it in with everything else. I think it's going to stand on its own.
Mm-hmm.
Well, let me ask you guys this really quick. Good points. You know, each one of you can go ahead and chime in on this one at a time. Provoke. What do you think were some of the best points about the movie? What's good about it?
Just the action feel. Like I really like the stunts that they did
Yeah.
in it. You know, there was just points in the movie where I was like, wow, how is he going to get out of this situation? You know,
Okay.
so it did keep me guessing. So I
Kept you on the edge. Kept you, you know.
it kept me entertained and my, you know, just like, okay, so what's going to happen next?
Yeah.
You know,
Some fighting scenes were amazing with the female warriors.
Yeah.
Oh my
Yeah.
god, they did some good, amazing stunts.
Well, that was a cool thing, and it seems like almost every single character was given enough time.
And a defined role.
Yes. Yeah, because sometimes in other movies, when you have so many different characters, you're going to have one or two characters that kind of sitting far off in the corner.
For example,
you don't get to see too much of them or enough.
In the original, the first Avenger,
Uh,
you really don't get to meet the Howling Commandos.
Yeah.
You know that they're there, but
Right.
each one has their own story. So, I mean, in this one here, you have defined roles of who is who and why they're important to this character's
Right.
development.
Right.
Let me ask you: did you guys thought it had a lot of action or less action than you expected? Because I felt that it didn't have that much action from the beginning to the end. It kind of
For me, if you're going to tell a good story, you have to pace it properly. Action scene, story, action scene, story. Now, if you want to full on blow everything up, Michael Bay is your guy.
Yes,
Yeah.
I was gonna say exactly Michael Bay.
Quack, 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 quack.
Michael Bay is your guy. It's kind of like he is a child that was given a director role in a good way
He played
sometimes,
with firecrackers.
and it's kind of like blow it up.
Yeah.
It's kind of like, but it doesn't make just blow it up.
He's a kid from Toy Story, blowing up the toys.
I think the last one that kind of made some sense to me was Bad Boys.
Yeah, the first one.
The first one?
The first one,
Yeah.
because that one had a decent story.
Yeah.
But it's kind of like if you watch any current Michael Bay, again, you're gonna get action, you're gonna get explosions,
Yeah.
but you're gonna suffer in the story.
Well, you figure like Winter Soldier. That movie had from the beginning to the end action.
But they had to really establish a story.
Well, it depends how you look at it, because to me personally, I think Winter Soldier felt slower than Black Panther. There were times in Winter Soldier where it was very, espionage.
Yeah,
there was a lot of, let's go figure this out, let's figure
Yeah, but
that out.
but they also didn't have. I mean, you met the characters already
Yeah.
Yeah,
for the
that's
most
true.
part, and this
Yeah.
one is kind of like you have to meet the royal court,
Yeah.
like
the tribes, and they did a really good job of explaining that.
Like you said, it is a unique movie.
I think maybe what you're thinking about, Nihai, is I think there was action throughout this movie, but maybe the action for you wasn't strong enough.
Yeah, that.
Because, and I'll get to that when we talk about the bad. With this movie, I think there were parts where, considering the hype of the movie, it's a great movie, but the action sequences weren't anything that were like, oh my god,
Yeah.
I can't believe I saw that. That's the best thing I've ever seen type deal. It was nothing that just blew me away where I just couldn't wait to see it again. It was done very well, done great and all that, but it wasn't earth shaking.
But could that be said about comic book movies now?
Yeah, see,
You
that's
said-
a hard sell.
Because of the simple fact that when you saw the very first Iron Man 10 years ago,
Right,
you had never seen anything like it.
right,
The same thing what happened with Christopher Nolan's Batman.
right.
That was a different take on Batman. So now,
Batman.
so now, shots.
That
So now, I think we're so okay. Well, I already know there's nothing that's gonna blow my mind. I mean, unless something again earth-shattering, like when you saw
Right.
Hulkbuster.
So you
Right.
so you basically think that like the audience is jaded now.
In a point, not granted for me, the movie was good. I would go watch it again if I had like, hey, let's go. You already know you saw it. Do you want to go see? Yes, I will go see it again. But I think that's why a lot of critics' reviews I really don't pay attention to. I'm gonna make my own opinion.
Yeah.
It's kind of like, oh well, they said this is gonna be the greatest Marvel movie. You know what? I'm gonna go make my own opinion when I go see it.
Yeah.
And that's one mantra that we've actually had here on the show. Don't listen to Rotten Tomatoes or critics. Go to the movie, enjoy the movie, and make your own opinion.
And I'll touch on more about that. 'Cause I messed up. Okay, go ahead and Dynamite. Go ahead and say what you thought, what you really liked about the movie.
Again, the pacing and story. That was to me for this character was gonna be make or break. If you've introduced a new character, and it felt like they put so much weight on this one character from critics that they had to tell a story right. They had to make you care about the characters that were in the movie, and they did. Not so much comedy, but they threw some in there that made it broke up the tension.
To balance it out.
And then they balanced out the action. They also balanced out the story as far as like, okay, the villain's arc, the hero's arc, and everyone in between. And that's probably what I appreciated more about this movie.
So the good points that I found in this movie was actually the couple of things that I hadn't seen before, which is their technology.
Yeah.
They did a great job to me because they're saying that Land of Wakanda is more far advanced than anything else on Earth.
Mm-hmm.
And I love the way that they show that, the way they represent that, not only with the roles that every different women and men carry in the movie, because obviously having female guards, defending the king, that you never see that. So that's very progressive. And then the technology stuff, that was probably the coolest part in this movie for me, because that was the kind of stuff where I was like, that's cool, I haven't seen that.
But the cool part about it is that there was
that.
times that they would show like a skyscraper,
Uh-huh.
but then they would attach like a hut looking aspect to
Yeah.
the building.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, okay, now you're doing a little bit of old and new. That's
Yeah.
dope.
You know what I like? The bond of Black Panther and his sister. They
Yeah,
had like a certain bond. It was so like.
and that was actually really good because throughout the movie you kind of see T'Challa. He's very stoic. He's trying to look a little, regal and very quiet.
But he still feels like, yeah.
Yeah, but those moments when he's with his sister,
Oh,
you
man,
see
yeah.
that
He gets to unwind.
he gets to
really be
normalize
himself,
and
He has
stuff.
to be like, I'm your big brother.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I've already started doing
Yeah.
the chest bump. That's our good on the movie.
Mhm.
Now let's talk about anybody say anything bad about it. Provoke.
To me, I felt like the last scene. I don't know if it's gonna be spoilers.
No, spoiler free.
Okay,
But if you just want to say the last
just
scene,
as like the last scene, the fighting scene, I thought it was a little bit kind of weak.
well, underwhelmed. Yeah, because that's
Oh,
kind
yeah,
of what
yeah.
we were talking about earlier. What do you think?
I think maybe the last fight, the climax, basically, maybe it ran a little bit too long. I wasn't like underwhelmed over it. I just thought it was a little bit
Kind of dragged a little bit.
Yeah,
I
dragged
think by
down a
them
little
going down, if they would have stayed up, it would have been different.
Okay.
The fighting scene.
With me, certain secondary villains were a little underutilized.
And I got you there.
Yeah,
So there's a couple things. When you guys watch the movie, you'll understand what we're talking about. That was my things. As much as we talk about how characters were developed and characters were tied together,
Yeah.
there's a couple, maybe one or two, where they left loose ends and then they just left you hanging right there. So that was my thing.
And you'll get more on that when we do our spoiler
Spoilers.
full review.
Full
So,
spoilers. Full
make sure you guys
spoilers.
keep an eye out for that one when that comes out later. We'll talk all about the movie and we'll spoil everything. So make sure you go see it before you listen to our next podcast. For me, on the bad side of the movie, it's like Dynamite says, take movie criticism for movies very lightly. I didn't listen to our own advice for the amount of information. It's always all over social media, and I'm always on social media watching everything that's going on, and it kind of spoiled the movie for me because there were so many critics out there just saying best Marvel movie ever. Rotten Tomatoes 100%. Rotten Tomatoes says this and that. All the critics couldn't
So basically, it was built up.
It
It was
built
built
up
up.
And you
too
followed
high
the
for
hype.
me.
Yeah.
Yeah,
The
so
hype,
by the
the
time
hype.
the movie came out, I was excited and I was like, "Oh my god, okay, let's see this,
coming,
let's see
it's
this."
coming.
I go watch it and I was like, "But I thought this was the best movie
Yeah.
ever." And don't get me wrong, it's a great,
great
movie.
movie.
It's good,
But you hyped it up too big
but
in your own
in
head.
my
Yeah,
own
I think
head,
we all
I
did.
hyped it too
I
much,
liked it.
and I was
Not
I was
me.
slightly let down.
Not me. I reserve. Again, I've made it now my thing where it's kind of like I'm gonna form my own opinion and I'm gonna like it because I like it, not because everyone else tells me.
Well, I gotta start getting used to that Marvel's gonna change a lot of things in the movies and the comic books, because that's what happened to me in this movie. Because I don't really know too much about Black Panther,
Yeah.
and we were reading about him, and they were giving us things about it that I went in there seeing like, okay, where's this character,
Mhm.
and nothing happened because they changed the names or they did something different to it. So that to me kind of threw me off.
Well, one thing that a lot of Hollywood knows is what works in books doesn't necessarily
Works in
translate in movies, and the same thing goes for comic books.
Mhm.
For them to make connections, or they're going to change backstories, or tweak backstories, or combine, this.
Well, I mean,
and
the
that
tweets that
together.
they did, it worked.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
I understand what they were trying to do, but by me doing my homework and I'm like, okay, this is what I'm gonna go and see. I didn't get nothing of that.
Guys, we did do a Black Panther prequel episode. Pretty much any information you guys might need. The information that we got was comic book based. If you don't see it matching up to everything that's in the movie, there's one's from the comic books, not from the movie.
And again, we'll dwell more into that once we do our spoiler full review.
Spoiler filled, yeah.
Yeah, so
Spoilers.
again, keep an eye out for that one.
What would you guys rate the movie?
Yes. Let's do rating
Ratings.
Black Panther within all of Marvel movies. So let's go ahead and start with your top favorite, and then move on your way down till we hit Black Panther on your list.
So is it like a five?
Well, it
movie?
depends.
I'm gonna do. It's Marvel's been around. Marvel Cinematic Universe has been around for 10 years. They just hit that milestone.
Right, 10 years.
So, from a scale for me, from 1 to 10, for me, this is gonna be 8.59.
Okay.
I gave it a 7.5.
I'll go about 8. Actually, 8.5. I'm actually gonna rate it higher than Spider-Man: Homecoming. And
Okay.
Whoa! And for those of you who don't know,
yeah.
DJ Provoke is a big time Spider-Man cosplayer.
yeah,
We gotta talk right now.
Okay. So, no, I mean, it's an opinion,
Yeah,
and there's no wrong opinion.
It's not.
But he's wrong.
Maybe
No. But I rated it 8.59
He's not a
for
Spider-Man
me
fan.
because of
You're
the
not
simple
a
reason
fan.
that it was a story. It was, and I haven't done that in a while.
and you went higher for Homecoming.
Homecoming is probably is probably your spot now. Like it's gonna be a Homecoming, Black Panther.
See, and this is what I was saying.
No, I can't.
You know, that's what I
Yeah.
was saying. You know,
And for me, and the reason, and the one that's probably on top, and for no particular reason, only that
It's
the
Winter
Avengers
Soldier.
are formed is
Avengers.
Avengers.
And I'm with you on that
Yeah.
one.
I think I have Avengers at number 1, and then I got Winter Soldier number 2,
And then Black Panther, or
and then Spider-Man.
okay.
Wow.
Where would you put it?
I think I'd go still like in love with the first one with Iron Man.
Oh yeah, no, really
Yeah.
good.
So that's probably my top, and then the next Avengers, and then I would say probably Black Panther would probably be like in the third, and then Homecoming right after that.
Okay.
Okay. Wow.
So Spider-Man didn't even make your top 3.
Oh,
No,
No, okay.
I was. You know what? I was disappointed, and we could talk about that some other time. But
No, we'll talk about it later on today in the show, man.
I'm taking
We'll
off
get
my
into
shirt.
it.
I was
We'll
just
get
a little
into
bit
I'm taking off my
disappointed.
shirt now. You know? Hey, we're gonna talk about this. What?
No, and he's wearing a
I know,
Spider-Man
I know.
shirt too. Come on,
yeah,
dog.
I'm wearing a Spider-Man shirt. I'm a huge Spider-Man fan.
Guys, we're gonna get to know our special guest here in a little bit, so we'll hit him up back then.
Just zipper it up, man. Just zipper it up.
So with me, Black Panther would probably rate. I'd probably rate it number 3. Avengers, the first Avengers movie, would be number 1. Again, like you said, Dynamite, because it's the first movie you get to see all the main characters together, and to me, it was a great movie.
It was epic.
Yeah, extremely epic for me. Next would be Civil War. I'd have to go with Nihai on that one. I love the espionage. I love how not Civil War, but Winter Soldier. I'm sorry. I love how with the first Captain America movie, they jump into Winter Soldier, and it's a completely different movie. You got, he's in a different time, and
you know what?
it shows that.
I think, like he said, it didn't feel like a Captain America movie. Like Black Panther didn't feel like Black Panther.
Yeah, and that's why I would put Black Panther third. I give it an 8.
See, as much as every single one of us had different points of view, what we liked and what we didn't like, everyone put it third.
Huh?
Yeah.
Well,
Everyone put it third.
except
I
for Provoke, you
I
put it second.
fourth.
Because something's wrong with him.
No, I put it third.
He
I
put it third.
I put
Did he?
it third.
Yeah.
Who was second?
Second was the first Avengers.
With Captain America?
Oh, that's right.
Oh, yeah, no, the first, yeah.
Oh, you said
Yeah.
Iron Man.
Iron
got it
Man,
first.
first
Iron Man,
Avenger,
yeah.
the first Avengers collective movie, and then
I got Black Panther number 4.
Yeah, so you're out of the circle.
Yeah, sorry.
Real quick, I know we were just brought up the Avengers, and I know it's kind of off topic. We need to bring it up. Did you guys hear that Marvel comic books are redoing the number ones in their comic books again? Again.
Wow.
And now what's going on?
Well, I heard about Venom going back to number 1 again.
I think they're rebooting everything. They're going to go back to number ones again. Didn't
Yeah,
they do
they
that
just,
last
They just
year?
did that last
You
year.
did, huh?
Okay, so now I could be wrong, but they're definitely going to do it with Avengers. And they're bringing back Tony Stark, they're bringing back Steve Rogers, they're bringing back Thor Odin's son as the original 3 core members.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And they did away with all the other Avenger books.
Wow.
So no new Avengers, no Secret
nice.
Avengers, no...
So they're going
Nice
to
Avengers.
kind of clean it up. And,
So they're cleaning. I think they're cleaning house, and because this is going to be probably the last movie is going to have all 3 main characters.
yeah, maybe.
But I think they're also going to go back and forth because they're actually explaining how there was the original Avengers where like Odin took Thor's spot. This is like beginning of time.
Yeah, way back when.
Yeah, so I think they're going to go back and forth between that for right now. I thought that would be interesting to bring up today.
I think we did touch on it, but I always love to let our families out there listening know whether or not a movie is suitable for all ages.
Yes.
So really quick, everybody agree this movie is good for kids?
Oh, yeah.
It's good
All
for
ages.
kids and grandparents.
I thought so. I took my 6-year-old boys, so and they enjoyed it.
Yeah.
So,
I didn't see anything wrong
Just
with the
make
movie.
sure you get
nothing
popcorn
like
for
that.
the kids when you watch
Yeah,
this movie.
right.
Popcorn, no liquids.
Yeah, no liquids, just popcorn.
Or like I said, bring pull-ups.
Yeah. Kid sizes and adult
And adult
sizes.
Either one.
It depends.
Yeah.
It depends.
It's literally called Depends.
Depends.
And then really quick, does any of you guys have anything to say about critic reviews? Because I've been looking online, and again, almost every single review of this movie has been like
Positive.
9 out of 10, 5 stars.
Okay, what
I couldn't even find a bad review on the movie.
No, they didn't really. They talked good about it. They didn't really. I didn't hear no negative review on it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You guys-
again, that's what I'm just saying. Just make your own review. But yeah, that's where I'm sticking with it. It's kind of like make your own opinion, make your own reviews. Other than that, I think that wraps up everything for Black Panther right now.
Yep.
To the spoilers.
Now, we're going to talk about our sponsor. It's Arthur Curry Fish Sticks.
Those are so good.
Oh,
Yummy.
now with 2 flavors, Pacific and Indian River. So Arthur Curry Fish Sticks, fresh from Atlantis. Give them a try.
Yummy. Are they cold?
They're fish sticks. Of course they're cold.
Are they have any spicy ones?
They no, not yet. Maybe the Indian. I haven't tried the Indian River ones yet.
Yeah.
They might have a little spice, but I know that they are Triton free. So
okay.
you know they weren't. You know, no dolphins were caught and pitched by any Tritons or anything like that. So you guys will be fine.
That's good to know. Okay, that's it for our spoiler-free review. Make sure you guys listen and pay attention for our next movie review, which will be full of spoilers. We're pretty much going to go, all out and express everything that we want to say about the movie. No holds barred. So keep an eye out for that one, and we'll see you guys soon.
You drop some comments if you want to.
Yeah, make sure you drop comments. If there's stuff you want to listen to or for us to talk about, make sure you guys let us know.
That was perfect.
And we're out.
Peace.
Thanks, guys.